been reading 1 Kings 17, and a bit just before it's when it says in 1 Kings 16:33, and Ahab made a wooden image. Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel who were before him. And then we go into 1 Kings 17 and talks about Elijah. Now Elijah was coming in at a time where there was an absolutely terrible king, like I say, provoked the Lord, and the Lord wasn't gonna have it. So Elijah was sent really before him. And Elijah, I mean, we all love Elijah and stories about Elijah because he was such a strong prophet. He really believed every word the Lord said to him, you know. And I just encourage through this, you know, for you to read this, because it wasn't easy for him to do the things that God wanted him to do. He had to go and I mean, you think that he actually caused a drought. The Lord said that he was going to there was going to be no rain, and Elijah had to go and tell the king this, and this was going to happen. And then he had to run away and hide, and he had to then rely on the Lord to feed him and give him water. And then after that, he sent him to, when the brook dried up, he sent him to the Lord had set a lady up that was going to feed him, and there was going to be a miracle through that, you know. And just think, if it's in our own lives, we have a little problem that comes along that floors us, you know, and you think, how am I ever going to get over this? And yet, you know, when we can look at the story of Elijah and the things, you know, that they went through, they had years of drought and days where they had very little. They didn't know when it was going to all be over. And then at the end of it, the widow's son dies, you know, and you think, you know, it would absolutely finish us probably. But Elijah still, he had that courage and strength in the Lord, that he took the boy and he did what he knew the Lord wanted him to do. He prayed over him, and he laid his hand on him, and he brought him back to life. And then he had to go and face Ahab himself, so that the punishment and the things that had gone on could then be renewed, and the Lord could be glorified through it. You know, and you think that all the things that happen to us, you know, instead of doubting, you know, the whole story with Elijah and the whole victory is because of his belief and his faith and following through. And if we have that in our lives, then we can follow that through too. So be strong like Elijah. And how was he strong? He was strong because he heard the Lord's voice, he spoke to the Lord, he prayed, and he spent time with the Lord. And that's how we can be strong as well, by praying and spending time with the Lord, reading our Bibles and letting the Lord carry us through situations that are difficult. Bring those situations to him, because it's only the Lord that will change situations. But if we don't bother to pray about it, and we don't bother to keep bringing it to the Lord and asking him, you know, that not bothering is Satan will put that. He'll put unbelief in us, and he'll put doubt and all those, and fear and all those other things. He'll put all that into our hearts so that we can live in defeat. The Lord put his Spirit in us so that we don't have to live in defeat. We can live in victory every day with Jesus. So just turn to the Lord and think of Elijah, and whatever problem comes across us, you know, it's another problem that the Lord can deal with for us.